Hey guys! Today I'm going to expand on something I mentioned in the previous podcast, which is learning to spend time with ourselves and appreciate our own company. Sounds cheesy, but I think it's a skill worth learning because we're stuck with ourselves no matter what, whether or not that's something that we enjoy. We're going to be covering three main things that both Anya and I have learned and tried ourselves.
One strategy to appreciate our own company is getting comfortable doing certain activities that you might usually do with your friends alone. You might think that some things are just meant to be done with others, like having a good rant session, or taking a walk, or grabbing a drink at Starbucks. But sometimes it could make you just as happy to be doing these things with yourself. It almost sounds silly to say with yourself, since that still means to be alone. But the truth is that you're a lively and interesting person to spend time with. Walk over to Starbucks, order your favorite drink, and stop feeling weird about being alone. Just find a seat to sip your drink and think. You must have so many things going on, from school to dreams for your future to mourning another character gone from Grey's Anatomy. Take a breather, because you might get some calm, quiet, and unbothered time you wouldn't usually get when with your friends.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. A few months ago, I decided to go on walks around my school campus a couple times a week during my free period. I would take my phone with me and open up the Notes app if I ever wanted to jot down some thoughts or add something to my to-do list. Everything around me was really quiet, and that gave me a great opportunity to just get some time with my thoughts. I also found that after doing this for a few weeks, I started feeling a lot less lonely in general. I know a lot of teenagers feel alone, whether in regard to friendships, relationships, or just in general. So it was important for me to break out of that kind of emotion. Writing in a journal or jotting down thoughts is a great safe space for our thoughts and makes it easier to get to know ourselves and loosen up our minds, keeping nothing pent up. Some of our negative thoughts, like frustration or disappointment or jealousy, can be uncomfortable to admit, even if only to ourselves. But I think it's really important to validate both our negative and positive emotions.
Of course, and another strategy for self-care is scheduling free time for ourselves. It is important to take at least a few minutes just to breathe. It is easy to say that we are too busy to have free time even if it's only for 20 minutes because our schedules already feel overworked and filled to the brim as they are. Thing is, adding free time, as weird as it seems, actually eases up our schedule because it takes the illusion that our schedules are rigid and we're running out of time, constantly working. Making a note to ourselves that from 7 to 7:30 is strictly free time forces ourselves to loosen up and eventually accept me time as a part of our regular work days. Whenever I had a busy day, I would be so exhausted, and it made me think that I need to find a way to have free time with no responsibilities. This is a time for relaxation, doing things you love, or doing things you usually never get to do.
This is so true, and I think something to keep in mind is that this free time isn't something to be sacrificed or compromised ever, whether it's for the sake of work or friends or a relationship. I know that the biggest reason why people usually lose sight of self-care is distractions. As important as our schoolwork and family responsibilities and social life are, we owe it to ourselves to at least give ourselves 10 or 20 minutes a day just to unwind and be okay. Don't let your me time get overshadowed by other things because you are always just as important as your most important priorities.
What we are trying to say is spend more time with yourself. Get comfortable going alone to places you might usually visit with friends. Jot down your thoughts in a journal and schedule a free time for yourself to do what you love. These are all ways you can work on yourself in terms of self-love, self-care, and overall personal growth.
You are listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Taarika Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank you so much for listening.